Hey everyone, back with another guitar repairs video, and this time we're going to take a baby Taylor and convert it to a Cuban tres, or a tres Cubano. So here's the baby Taylor, and when we're done, going to have 3 pairs of strings that are together like this, and like this. So what we have to do is we have to take the bridge pins out and replace them with ebony bridge pins and fill the holes and re-drill the holes in the correct places. And we also have to fill in the nut slots and recut the slots. And we have to adjust the height of the strings at the saddle. Now, the only problem with this guitar is that you have Taylor's new pickup system. Now, it's a great system. It sounds wonderful when you're playing live and all that stuff. If you look carefully, you have these 3 circles. Okay. Now, normally, what I do is I fill in the low E string hole and I move it closer to the bridge, to the saddle, I mean. But because of the pickup placement in this guitar, I can't do that. And I've done this before. And I need a second bridge pin right here. So I'm going to make a little extra piece of ebony to glue on to the back of this bridge, like that. So the first thing we're going to do is take off the strings. So we have the proper size Allen wrench, and we loosen these 3 Allen keys right here. This pickup presses the piezo or piezo element, whichever way you like to pronounce it, onto the side of the saddle instead of underneath the saddle, which traditional piezo pickups do. This is a new thing. Here the saddle is coming out, and when we reach inside, we're going to wiggle the pickup out. I talked to Taylor, I called them up and they said it's totally fine to do this. No problem, comes right out. I've done this before in another guitar just like this, and so we'll see. Ah, there we go. It's starting to come out. There we go. And there it is. There you have the modern Taylor guitar pickup, and they're using this in a lot of guitars, and it's really a great system. Okay, so now we have our ebony bridge pins, and the kind that I buy do not have the slot cut already in the pin, because when you're filling in the hole, you don't want that slot in there, since I'm going to drill right next to it. So obviously, the bridge pins are too long. You stick them in here, it's sticking, above the bridge. So we're going to cut off the top. I like to hold a pencil inside the guitar and turn it, and then draw a line on the bottom of the bridge pin. Okay, and I know how much to cut off from the inside as well, because if it's sticking out inside under the bridge, it's probably not so good when you're putting strings in later on. You just want to have the actual bridge pins that you're going to use sticking out and not all this extra stuff. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut down this bridge pin to size. I also need to slice off the top. So I have this small vise here, and I have a shim, piece of wood, and I stick the bridge pin in the vise, just slice it off with this jeweler saw. It's a very skinny blade, probably can't see it in the video. So we just slice it off. And now I'm going to slice off the top part, the head of the bridge pin. Very good. So now we have this shortened bridge pin. So got the pin now short, right? And if you look at it here in the guitar, it's pretty flat, and we're going to sand off the rest of that. So I'm going to do this 5 more times, and we'll come back when I'm done with that. I'm not doing all 6, I'm only doing the 4 middle ones, because this bridge pin is very near the pickup hole, and this one is also very near, and these two are already in the right place. And I can't move them forward. There's enough room to drill a second hole right here next to it. Right there is the problem, but here there's plenty of room when I fill in those. So we're just going to glue them in, and that'll be that. We have our tight bond. Take out the pin. Put some glue there, all in there. Put it in there. And with a damp sponge, we take off the extra glue. And the last one here, get it in there. Definitely a lot easier to clean off this glue than the epoxy. You don't have to use epoxy in this case. So here we are, day 2, and yesterday we glued in the bridge pins that we had shaved off, and this is protect top. So now you have those flat bridge pins, and inside I trimmed them off as well, and we have to sand this down smooth and flat today. The first thing you have to do is make a cardboard mask, the cutout for the bridge. Learn the hard way that it doesn't matter which guitar it is, you need to protect the guitar. Alright, so I'm going to use this Dremel tool first. It has a sanding wheel. I'm going to sand off some of it with that. Okay. Then we have some wooden blocks with sandpaper. I have a block. I'm going to put 80 grit sandpaper on there. Well, I'm going to try 50 at first because I happen to have some. And I have a narrow block because I only really want to sand over the bridge pin tops. Okay, so now we knocked off the tops of those bridge pins with the 80 grit sandpaper. You can see it's smooth there. And this time I was lucky I didn't get any pieces breaking off, which I would have to fill in with super glue and ebony dust. So now I take it down to finer grade of sandpaper. I'm going to do 150. And smooth it out, get rid of all the scratches from the 80 and the 50. And last we'll do 600. And that will really smooth it all out. Even use more like polishing at this point. Okay. Now we have that. And from a couple of feet away, you won't see that at all. I don't have time to do more today, but now we have the bridge ready for the new holes, and I will show you how to do that in the next installment. The other thing we have to do is take off the nut, fill in the slots, and cut the new slots where they're supposed to go. Okay. And the next step is to drill the holes for the strings in the bridge of the guitar. But in order to do that, you have to have the strings lined up in the proper place. And for that to happen, you have to have slots in the nut correctly. So it was too long for this video. But what I did was I took the nut and I filled in the slots with actually acrylic nail powder, nail strengthening powder. You can also use bone dust or actually baking soda. I don't know if you can see this, but now I have 3 pairs of slots, 1, 2, and 3, and they're 3 millimeters apart. And that's because on the tres you have 3 pairs of strings. All right. So now I'm going to mark off the holes in the bridge. Okay. What I did was I left the original E string slots on the nut. I'm going to, and because on this guitar I didn't fill in the original E string hole, I put the string on, and then I'm pulling the other string through my second slot there, down to the bridge, and I'm going to hold it next to the other bridge pin post. So you have a 3 millimeter spacing between the pair of strings at the nut. In order to have the same string spacing at the bridge, you need to have the string actually touching the bridge pin of the first string. So I pull the second string of the pair down from the tuner over the nut slot, and then I mark it off here on either side of the string. Then I take one of the bridge pins, another one, and I stick the head upside down. And you want it to be pretty close to the first one. Okay. And I draw a line across, and I get my point where I'm going to drill into the guitar. Okay, so if you're too close though, it's no good because you won't be able to put the pin in when you're done. There's plenty of room here on this bridge behind the string, the pin in the bridge. There's plenty of room to drill an extra hole right here. If you'll notice that the holes are very close together for the pickup and the bridge pin, and the bridge is very stable and it's totally fine. The holes can be close together, and we have our old pins sanded smoothly, and it's great. So now I have my X there, I don't know if you can see that, and I'm going to get my marking tool, my awl, and then drill a hole there. Okay, so I have my awl, which is a very nasty tool. Don't leave it around when you have kids. And the reason you do this is that your drill doesn't slide around when you start drilling. And make a mark in the bridge. I like to gradually enlarge the hole with this tool, which is called a reamer. Alright, so here we go. Never drill in front of the client. Haha. Okay, here we go. Vacuum up the stuff. And we get our bridge pin and put it in the hole. Okay. And we take our reamer. And it looks great. It's all the way in there. Now the other thing that you want to do, so you don't have sharp edges on your holes, is to countersink the hole with a countersink bit. So for that I'll have to take out the other bridge pin so you don't have a sharp edge at the top of your hole. So I guess I'll put it in the drill bit, in the drill, stick it on there. Very nice. Now the hole won't chip when you're taking the strings in and out later on. Let's see how that looks. Perfect. Sometimes you get a situation where the hole is big enough on top, but inside it's not large enough for the actual string. Now in this case, I don't want to make the top of the hole wider because it's already the perfect size for the bridge pin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to stick the bit inside the guitar a little bit and then sort of widen. I can cut sideways with this. This doesn't drill straight down, it goes sideways. And I'm going to enlarge just the bottom of the hole so that the string ball end will go through. Because right now this ball end is too large for the hole. The ball end at the end of your guitar string there. Ah, there we go. So now it's perfect. And I didn't enlarge the hole on top. It's still gripping the string the way I like. I'm just tightening it up. So, I have these other strings on there just because they were left on from before. So now I have the first pair of strings on there. There's your two bridge pins next to each other where they're supposed to be. I haven't really adjusted the action or anything like that yet. From the looks of things, though, we'll have to make a new saddle also because this is too low. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, the action is definitely too low and this saddle is not going to work out, so I'll have to make a new saddle. So what I'm going to do is repeat the process that I just showed you for the other three holes that I need to drill, and I'll show you in the video when I'm done with that. Okay. Okay, so here I am at the end of the whole thing. It has now been fully converted. You have the... Just wanted to go over a recap of what was actually done. So you have the bridge with the holes in new spots. This is original, and the other four holes were drilled, and the original bridge pin holes were filled in. I also added a piece of ebony to the bridge here because there wasn't enough room for that extra hole. I also sanded down the saddle a bit to make the lower action, and you want to have two 30-seconds action at the 12th fret, and the pairs of strings themselves are 3 millimeters apart. So I have 3 millimeter pairs at the nut, like that, and I kept it pretty much 3 millimeters at the bottom also. And how does it sound? Well, it sounds great. D minor lick, here's a C7. Then you have little Arsenio Rodriguez. you have it, and it's a Taylor Baby acoustic guitar, and ready to address. If I get another interesting repair, I'll make another video. So see you next time for another guitar repairs video. Take care.